And another hadith that tries to or gives a hint into this deception. Prophet described that when these times of Dajjal appear, calculate your prayer times. And I said, oh, this is interesting. We all calculate our prayer times. And the deception of shaitan is so great and so subtle that most people, 99.9% of people don't understand that it's happening. So he said, we have a clock with two 12s on it and we have no understanding of what that 12 is. What is 12 and then what is 12? Why 1 o'clock in the morning they say it's a new day but it's night time. Means the system of deceit and the conditioning of deceit is to be deceived and conditioned in the deception in which to not even know you're deceived and not even question the deception. And illogical that when we said Islam comes and Sharia comes as the law of nature, it's not the beheading of people, this is propaganda and craziness and the cutting of this and cutting this, all propaganda. Islamic law and Sharia from heavens is the law of nature. Mercy and rahmah like God's rain, where the rain falls not on one man's head. One man may be holy but the whole town will bear the mercy of that one holy person because rain comes and is given in the oceans of generosity to everyone. The natural law, it goes with the heart. Unnatural law is to tell somebody 1 o'clock is a new day. So why is a new day, 12 AM is a new day? Those systems of 12 were based off of Roman pagan understandings because they were sun worshipping, and a whole history of Islam was taken away. And when you make it artificial, it's about manipulating. So I tell you, this is a new day, you say, it doesn't look like a new day, and I'm going to try to control you because I manipulate your understanding until you don't question me. Its times make no sense, its movement makes no sense. When you artificially manipulate time, you give to people the appearance that you have some power and they believe in you and they begin to, like Butt parast, the idolatry of following that. Where if we go back to the natural law, Islamic understanding, time was based on salah and worshipness. It was a reminder that your only purpose on this earth was to worship me. So what time is it? Well, Fajr time, so we pray. It's so many hours after Fajr. What time is it now? Zuhr time, and we even had in our language, Yek Sa'at Ba'da Zuhr, 1 hour ba'das after Zuhr. Means our clock was based on salah, means our life is based on salah. We meet somebody an hour after Maghrib, we meet somebody before Salat al-Isha, after Asr, after Zuhr. So that your whole understanding and taslim and submission was to the Divine, and your purpose on this earth was to the Divine, and the keeper of your time was Allah. So that was deep for the soul because life becomes relaxed. We're not trying to conquer time, we just have to make our afternoon prayer. And all of their technologies were based on salah, was based on these times. Because now you say to somebody, it's 7 o'clock, but that doesn't mean it's an evening because still Islamic law is the moon, it's not dark outside. So what does 7 o'clock mean to you? It doesn't mean Isha, it doesn't mean Maghrib. So these timings had nothing of any reality, it was unnaturally imposed upon humanity from pagan beliefs. 12 hours of day, 12 hours of night, which is not right, it's not even accurate. You say 6 o'clock as if it's night, you say 7 o'clock as if it's night. But no, the Islamic law was correct, that it was Maghrib, then sun is down, sun has come down. Say Fajr, sun is now coming up. So everything was based on a natural law that you see the sun, this is the time. Our Zuhr was at its peak, which is continuously shifting based on seasons. So our clock was moving with nature. Our Maghrib in winter and Isha all very close. Imagine if you had to make a clock like that, all the numbers would space close together at winter time. But we don't have a clock like that because the clock was based on the salah. So you pray the Asr, an hour we have Maghrib, and an hour and a half is going to be Isha now in the winter time. And then when you go into summer these hours would expand, again according to nature and natural law, not artificial concepts imposed upon people. And when shaitan would impose artificial concepts, it's called mind control. Because your mind is telling you, it's like you come to somebody say, this is a blue sky, and the whole town says it's red. You say, no but it's blue. He says, no it's red, until you agree it's red. And no more you have logic and no more you have understanding. But what Allah wants for the servant in the natural law, because Islam comes to liberate people from the deception of shaitan. The natural law is our time, and our clock is based on our salah. The calculation of our timepieces were based on those salah. Even they had astrolabe, which they had a very complicated device that knew the exact month, the day of the month and the timing, and they traversed the world with these systems. The more accurate would be a clock from 1 to 24, so that you knew when it was 6, you knew it was 7, and then you knew when it was now 19, and then when it was 20, when it was 21, when it was 22. So it means the deception is in everything. And the purpose of shaitan's deception, not people, somebody making a watch, he doesn't know what he's doing, but the purpose in which shaitan deceives people, manipulates them and artificially controls them, in which their logical mind no longer thinks. And we see it now, people are just saying things illogical. Something they saw on TV and they reiterate back that, have you stopped to think what you're saying? And they don't, there's no more logical mind because they think and they've been trained in a certain way. But the open heart and open heavens is all based on logical, based on nature, everything that we see around us. So we pray that Allah give us a great understanding and to illuminate the deception and to free all of humanity from the deception of these shayateen. And these shayateen are nefarious creatures who don't wish humans to reach their ability. They are much more powerful than them and they know that. This is why Qur'an came to teach that people and Ahlul Kitab can be much more powerful than these jinn nations. And they fear that if mankind should reach to a level of Divinely knowledges, not the garbage knowledge that they propagate, but to keep people from reaching their own God-given reality within their soul, an awakening of their soul in which their consciousness, the deep consciousness within their soul awakens. It says, look, the very clock we're using is deceptive, the food we eat is deceptive, the clothing we wear is toxic. All of it can be fixed, all of it can be resolved, and mankind enters into a humanity, to an awakening. This is not a coming against anything, this is trying to wake people up. Imagine if everybody made fabrics that would improve your energy. They say that a manufacturer from one of the big fashion houses was arrested because he was told not to make a fabric that he was arrested for making. And the fabric he made, that if you put the fabric on it would induce all sorts of negative thoughts within you of all the different negative characteristics. It means it had some energy understanding within it that if you put this fabric on these negative desires would come towards you. So they actually go the reverse way. They're not trying to get people to be healed, to be energized and to be perfected. And this is because behind are the big shayateen that are governing them, and they're not from the human races. We pray that Allah grant us a greater understanding, and these are from the immense realities of the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salaamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa bi sirri Surat al-Fatiha.